Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for August's TBR because I'm currently obsessed with vampires more than I was before. So August's TBR is going to have a lot of vampire themed books, maybe dark, gothic, atmospheric, gloomy vibes, okay? And I am here for it. So as you guys may know, I am obsessed with the fall season, hence look at my shirt in this video, okay? So with that being said, I have been craving the fall to come much sooner because of that, and because I read Stalking Jack the Ripper last month, and because I read the Revenant games, I am in the mood to read a lot of, again, dark, atmospheric books that kind of should be read in the fall and give you those vibes. Before we get into the video, if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. That way you never miss another one of my videos and you stay on top of my content. Before we get into all the books that I want to read this month, which I'm so excited about, let's talk about some of my most anticipated releases coming out in August, along with some new releases that piqued my interest. The first book I want to talk about is Blood Like Mine by Stuart Neville. This one is a horror novel and it comes out August 6th. All I know about this one is that it's about a mother and her daughter, I think, who are traveling cross country and get stalked by a serial killer. That's pretty much it. That's all I know. A mother takes desperate measures to protect her daughter in a sinister, blood-chilling highway pursuit across the American West. That sounds so interesting to me. Okay, so intriguing, so interesting. I can't wait to read it. I'm excited. The next one on the list of my most anticipated releases would be no other than Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. You guys know how much I loved Assistant to the Villain last year. This is book 2 of that series. I can't wait. When that book comes out, I will be stopping whatever I'm doing and I will be literally reading and binging that book. I know it's going to be just as fun, if not even better than the first one. If you didn't know what the series is about, I think this series is going to be a trilogy fantasy romance about an assistant and his villain. And it's very comical and it's funny and it's just comforting and cozy, especially in the fall. Even though we're not in the fall yet, guys, in my mind, in my brain, the fall has already started. The next one on the list is The Breakup Pact by Emma Lord. This one comes out August 13th. This one is a contemporary romance about best friends who fake date, I believe. Two best friends who haven't spoken in 10 years pretend to date after breakups with their respective ex go viral in this delightfully funny and deeply emotional novel. I like this because it says deeply emotionally. I love books like that. I love romances like that. I love fake dating. Obviously, there's some pent-up tension there because they haven't spoken in 10 years. Something horrible must have happened between their relationship where they haven't spoken for 10 years. And I know it's going to be emotional, and I love me a good emotional contemporary romance. The next one on the list is The Last Party by Christy Grinwood, and this one comes out August 20th. This one is a psychological thriller. You guys already know I love me a good psychological thriller, and I'm just going to give you a very vague little blurb about it. It says, a loving mother, a notorious murderer, they both have reasons to hide their secrets in a novel of escalating shock and suspense. I'm not going to read you the whole synopsis because literally it's like a story long, but it intrigued me enough to put it on this list. This one is not by Chrissy Greenwood. I'm so sorry. This one's actually by A.R. Torrey, and I read a book from her last month and I really enjoyed it, so I'm just picking up her newest release at this point. The next book I'm looking forward to is Megan Quinn's new release, which comes out August 20th, and that is Bridesmaid Undercover. I think I've read 1 or 2 Megan Quinn books. All her books are hilarious. Her steamy scenes are perfection, and she just knows how to write a good contemporary romance. Everly Plum is delighted to be heading up the Bridesmaids for Hire program at Magical Moments by Maggie. And when Hardy Hopper, one of their billionaire investors, approaches Everly for help with his friend's wedding, she's more than happy to step in. But Hardy has an extra assignment for her. His ex-girlfriend will be the maid of honor opposite his role as best man, and he wants Everly's help getting her back. Obviously, they fall in love. You know, gotta love that. The next one is another one of my anticipated reads for this month. I cannot wait for this because the first one I enjoyed so much, and that is the second book in the Kingdom of the Veiled series. Right now there's only 2 books. I think there's probably going to be a third one, and that is The Hunted Heir by Holly Renee. We all know how much I enjoyed the first book in the series that I read, I think, the beginning of this year. I can't wait to see where this slow burn romance ends up. I'm not gonna really say a lot about this book, but it's just the second book in the series. This series is a steamy romantasy, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna tell you. The little blurb says, the second book in the Kingdom of Veiled scorching romantasy series with enthralling secrets, impassioned enemies, and luring tension. That's it. So let's move on to my August TBR, shall we? So the first book I want to read, I don't have a physical copy. I'm going to read it on my Kindle, and you're going to see a theme. Obviously, I said this in the beginning of the video, but the theme is vampires. Gloomy, dark, mysterious vampires, maybe witches. So the first book that I want to read is Blood Orange by Karina Hall. I've heard about this book when it first came out. I've heard it's really good. This is a very steamy, gothic, dark romance about a Dracula retelling. Try to say that 10 times, okay? And I think the second book in the series came out already. It's a duet. There's only 2 books in the series. A dark and delicious Dracula retelling filled with secrets and lies, dangerous liaisons, and a forbidden student-teacher second chance love story with a twist. What? I didn't even know it was a student-teacher second chance love story. What in the world? It literally has everything, and I heard it's super steamy. I can't wait. The next book on my list would have to be Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. This is her newest release. If you watched, when was it? 2 months ago maybe? One of my wrap-up videos, I literally binged her first 2 books. This is her newest release. Obviously, it's going to be emotional. It's going to make me cry. It's going to have everything I want in a contemporary romance and then some, because this author, I love the way she writes, and I've said this before. This author writes as if Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez had a baby. That's how she writes her books. They're more fiction-based with a hint of romance, and the romance is always very emotional. The characters are always going through something in their lives where it makes the romance not this fluffy rom-com, but something more serious and more meaningful. And it just tugs at my heart every single time I read one of her books. I love it. I love the feeling that I get every time I read one of her books. I am here for it. A bingeful 5-star read. That was a blurb said by Abby Jimenez, okay? Benefits of a summer romance. It's always fun, always brief, and no one gets their heart broken. Allie Morris is a professional organizer whose own life is a mess. Her mom died 2 years ago. Then her husband left, and she hasn't worn pants with a zipper in longer than she cares to remember. No one is more surprised than Allie when the first time she takes off her wedding ring and puts on pants with hardware, overalls count, right? She meets someone. Or rather, her dog claims a man for her by peeing on him. Ethan smiles at Allie like he likes what he sees. He looks at her like she's a younger, braver version of herself. The last thing newly single mom Allie needs is to make her life messier, but there's no harm in a little summer romance, is there? Of course we know that they're gonna fall head over heels for each other. She's a single mom struggling with grief because her mother passed away, also struggling with the fact that she's a single mom, you know, trying to do that on her own. And then she meets a man and falls in love. Perfect. The next book on my list is the only cozy cottagecore book, and if you don't know already, which you probably do, that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is all about the vibes. It's all about the atmosphere. It's all about the cozy feels. I will read this after I read one of my darker books in this list. This is a good place with kind people who cared about each other. There was a unicorn in the woods, mermaids in the coves, and the best raspberries she'd ever tasted, and there was Lauren. A lush cottagecore tale full of stolen spell books, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. I'm sure you guys have heard this book. I don't want to read you the back just because it seems very long, but it's a cozy cottagecore fantasy, and it has romance in it, and it has spells, and it has raspberry jam, and it has love and books, and I think she's a librarian. Say no more. It's comforting as homemade jam on a fresh baked muffin. I can't wait. I'm excited. Then I want to read, I forgot the name of this series, but I finally want to get to One Dark Window by Rachel Gilling. This, I've heard the magic system is so interesting. They also say that they haven't read a book that has magic system like this. Maiden Monster Mater. It's dark, it's atmospheric, it's kind of gothic-y, and I believe this is a YA. Elizabeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare. nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure blunder of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, and guilty of high treason. A maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy. I think this is YA. Pulse-pounding, darkly whimsical, and aglow with treacherous magic. One dark window is everything I love in a fantasy and more, and that was said by Alison Saft, the author of A Far Wilder Magic. A beautifully dark fairy tale of blood, rage, and bitter choice that whisked me away to mist-wreathed woods ripe with romance and menace. And that was said by Davinia Evans, author of Notorious Sorcerer. I'm so excited. I've heard really great things about it. If you guys read this, let me know if you liked it, but no spoilers, okay? No spoilers. Then I had to add in here a dark romance because this one is a small town, I think, dark romance, but I've heard people describe this as very romantic, and I want to see what that's about. And that is Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. This is the first book in the Souls trilogy. I think the third one already came out. I'm so behind, but I'm very excited. It says a college student has unleashed an irresistible darkness, a soul-hungry demon who might be her only chance at survival in this dark romance series. So it's about a college student who summons a demon and then he becomes obsessed with her and possibly stalks her, maybe? I don't know. I don't want to read the back. I'm just excited to get to this one. Now moving on to some of my Dracula books, some of my vampire books. The first book in that little category that I want to read is The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Marin, I think. Look how beautiful this, I think this is Fairy Loots edition. I believe it's Fairy Loots edition. I mean, it is stunning, okay? Just love it so much. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Let's see. I don't know what this book is about. All I know is that this is a fantasy romance about vampires. And then will you look at that, how beautiful that is? And let me know if I have to read another series before this. I think someone said I did, but I don't know. I really don't know. You're doing it again, he says at last. I look away quickly. Doing what? Romanticizing nightmares. Yeah, this is Fairy Loots edition. Darkness is coming for us. It's coming for you too. 6 months have passed since Silly took her scarred vows and joined the ranks of the chasseurs as their first huntswoman. With her fiance Jean-Luc as captain, she is determined to find her foothold in her new role and protect Volterra after she failed to protect her sister. But whispers from the past still haunt her, and a new evil is rising, leaving bodies in its wake, each one decorated with twin puncture wounds in its throat. Despite how her friends and fiancé have tried to shield Celie from the darkness, their magic, swords, and even the light of the endless candles they provide cannot keep her safe from a monster that hides behind beautiful words and sharp smiles. Now, Celie has new reason to fear the dark because something is coming for her. And the closer he gets, the more tempted Celie feels to give into his dark hungers and her own. We all know this is going to have a really good feed scene. Okay? And that is why I want to read vampire books this month, because I am obsessed with that one scene in every vampire/Dracula book. It's just so good. So good, so seductive, so sexy, so slow burnish. Then we have the next book in the Jack the Ripper series, and that is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. I had to put this on my list this month, you guys. Why not? After reading Jack the Ripper, I became obsessed with this author's writing, and I know this is going to be so good because it's about your most infamous bloodthirsty vampire, which is Dracula. A man is impaled by a sharp wooden stake. A woman chambermaid drained of her blood. They say it's Prince Dracula arisen from the dead. I say it's the living, not the dead, we should fear the most. I mean, look at how beautiful. This set that I got is illustrated. So we have, let me see if I can find a picture of Dracula in here. Probably not. I don't want to show you the first picture because it's the most boring. Okay, guess we're gonna have to do that. But it's illustrated like that. Every chapter is illustrated. I'm pretty sure it's about a romance between Prince Dracula. Sorry, I'll keep saying like that. But Prince Dracula and his chambermaid. His chambermaid, is that what they call it? In the 1800s. I don't know where this is set in. The first book was set in London, which was all vibes and atmosphere, and I loved it. This one, I don't know where it's set. Romania! Romania! Oh my gosh. Yep, Romania. I'm excited. I can't wait, you guys. The next book on this list is a YA fantasy romance, I think, and that is your famous Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is the first book in the Crowns of Naxia novel, in the Crowns of Naxia series. I don't really know if I said that right at all. I am so sorry. This, I think, there's 3 books. It's a trilogy, and it's described as the Hunger Games. There's trials, and there's vampires. We gotta love that. And it's fun, and that's pretty much all I know. Human or vampire, the rules of survival are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart. The adopted human daughter of the night-born vampire king, Oria, carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But winning won't be easy against the most vicious warriors from all 3 vampire houses. To survive, Oria is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He is a ruthless vampire and efficient killer, an enemy of her father's crown and her greatest competition. Yet what terrifies Oria most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him. But there's no room for compassion in Kajari, who war for the throne of the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Oria thought she knew about her home. And Rain may understand her more than anyone, but their blossoming attraction could be her downfall in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. Are we talking enemies to lovers, forbidden romance, all of the above, trials, vampires? What? I'm excited. I can't wait. And then the last book on the list is a book that I actually soft DNF'd. I don't remember when. I think it was the beginning of this year when it first came out. And for some reason, it's such a slow build in the beginning of this book that I find myself like not paying attention and then annoyed with myself that I have to reread. I picked it back up last night and I'm already on page 106, so it's going better. Everybody says that the beginning of the book is very slow and it builds up very slowly, but then it gets really good because people have raved and talked so good about this book that I feel like, again, I'm missing out. The Crimson Moth, aka Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This is the first book in that series. This is a duology so far. It's part of the Crimson Moth series, and I believe this is about a witch and a witch hunter who fall in love. So forbidden love. The only thing more treacherous than being a witch is falling in love, because he is hunting her and she is trying to stop him from hunting witches. We just love that. She was a Crimson Moth, a wanted criminal, not to mention a witch, hiding in plain sight, but this wouldn't be the first time she walked in the space full of people who hunted her kind. She'd done it hundreds of times before without batting an eye, so why was there a tiny seed of fear sprouting inside her? On the night Rune's life changed forever, blood ran in the streets. Now in the aftermath of a devastating revolution, witches have been diminished from powerful rulers to outcasts ruthlessly hunted due to their waning magic, and Rune must hide where she is. Spending her days pretending to be nothing more than a vapid young socialite, Rune spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, a witch vigilante who rescues her kind from being purged. When a rescue goes wrong, Rune decides to throw the witch hunters off her scent by courting the handsome Gideon Sharp, except Gideon is a notorious and unforgiving witch hunter, loyal to the revolution, and falling for him would be deadly. Okay, it's getting a little better, okay? It's getting a little better, but look how beautiful. Off topic though, look how beautiful this cover is. This is Fairy Loot's edition. When I had Fairy Loot subscription. I'm excited. I hope I can finish it. Again, it's a slow build. It's getting a little better. So I'm just gonna push through and see what the hype is about, because again, I've heard nothing but great things, and I think the next one in the series, I don't think it has come out yet, but it will soon within the next couple of months. So I need to catch up. So those are all the books I'm attempting to read in the month of August. If you've noticed the theme in here, they're vibes. All atmospheric, all dark and gloomy vibes with Dracula, with vampires, with witches, with trials. I am so excited because even though it's August, for me, it's already fall. For me, I am already celebrating fall because I love it so much and I love to read books like this in the fall. Hopefully I get through all of these. We will see. So that's it. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!